Drake of Bluescreen Bronies here. We've got your E3 episode here. It's week late, but D-Pad, Screw Loose, and Viral here. They can attest to the crap that we had to constantly change throughout the week.
Not to mention up until, about 6 hours ago?
Yep.
Noodle arms all around.
Yeah, I love getting 13 text messages saying, oh yeah, you have new email from Kotaku because the story's changed 19 different times.
Yep.
We're going to start this E3 episode off with Microsoft since they were the first company out of the gate on E3.
And they fell flat on their face.
Dear
God.
God,
A little bit.
Not only did their entire conference circle with hearsay and a whole bunch of non-answers, but they had a harassment issue on stage.
Yeah.
Did not hear this one.
Yeah, they had a harassment issue on stage. It was during one of their games.
Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct. The female model, or whoever the heck she was, I don't know. I didn't watch the Xbox conference, to be honest with you. I was a little preoccupied watching something with games.
Yep.
Xbox had an issue with a little bit of harassment because the male player said, just relax, it'll be all over soon.
Oh boy.
He was beating the other player really, really hard. And unfortunately his inner gamer came out, and
Wasn't he the one that got that stupid ultimate combo or something like that?
Something like that. But Xbox One, it's technically advanced if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty. Does it play a lot of games? Well, now it does, because they don't have the always online DRM on there anymore.
Although technically, as far as releases go that are exclusives, they technically had more that weren't indie titles and that weren't already available on PC.
But we only saw 3 that they actually showed.
Basically, yeah, the rest are kind of hearsay, and
The rest were cookie-cutter sequels like Halo 5.
Dead Rising 3, which is looking kind of interesting.
Interesting in a bad way.
Dead Rising 2 didn't sell that well. Why are we getting
Not
a
really,
sequel?
no.
Actually,
They're trying to move it towards an MMO, aren't they?
they're trying to market it towards the Call of Duty fans to make it
Oh boy.
more mature and gritty instead of the silliness that is taping 2 chainsaws to a paddle.
To a kayak paddle and going, whee!
Or some questionable toys being shot out of a launcher. But, that's here or there.
this is a quality program.
Oh, yeah, we all know mowing down zombies on a tricycle in cutoffs and a tube top is definitely the way to go.
Yep, that's the awesome way to go. I mean, what is this, Saints Row 3? Anyway.
Oh, they wish.
Microsoft kind of swung and missed, and by miss, I mean the ball was literally as big as a barn, and they didn't even swing.
Yeah, they went down looking.
To me, they pulled let's go with Internet Explorer.
Oh, God.
Wow, another Microsoft.
Yeah, they're just trying to make everything Internet Explorer.
Hey, guys, we do things, too.
The only thing Internet Explorer is good for is making sure I install Chrome and Firefox.
Basically.
Can it play games? Sure. Is it technologically advanced to be able to play the top-tier games? Probably. I mean, it's on par with the PS4. The issue is, what did they show us at the reveal? A whole bunch of Comcast. I mean, a whole bunch of Comcast. Well, if you think you're going to be able to use your TV, your Xbox for TV on Time Warner Cable, not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually speak from experience on that one. Down here in Austin, until Google Fiber gets here, the highest internet you can get at a rate without spending almost $100 is 5 down, 1 up.
Whoa!
It's terrible. Yeah.
Oof.
So, I mean, they backpedaled on the always online DRM a lot because basically when 300,000 service members say we're not getting your game, you're pretty much screwed.
Backpedaled? If they backpedaled any faster, they would have lost their lunch.
Yeah, we'd have experiencing some G-force there. Here's what it comes down to. If they'd have kept DRM, that would have been basically market suicide because, nobody went, because DRM has just this, well, kind of a worthy stigma of being, overwhelmingly negative. So, I mean, given how Sony came back and said, hey, no DRM, you can trade your games like this, and they just hand it to each other.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Then you should have it. This beautiful gem was meant to be with you.
Thank you so much! Wow, Spike. My destiny!
That's all, fine and dandy, but,
I got a hunch about that. I think that Sony and Microsoft were like, okay, we're gonna do this, right? And Sony's just sitting there going, sure!
Oh, God.
And then just completely screws them over.
You're gonna jump too, right?
Just to play devil's advocate here, the DRM kind of would have potentially made some developers or publishers a little bit more, let's say, I guess, trusting of the console. It's the same concept as a seatbelt. It doesn't necessarily stop death, but you feel a little better when you're driving your car. Because, piracy always finds a way.
There's a funny thing about that, though. There was an article I was reading a while ago. It was comparing everyone goes completely crazy when DRM is mentioned on a console. For PC gamers, if it's not on Steam or Origin, although granted Origin's a special case, nobody wants to touch it.
By special case, you mean special education case, right?
Special with a goddamn helmet.
Exactly.
Special, another case of Internet Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
No, the issue isn't necessarily that. It's the way they worded things. There's good PR, as in, like, Sony saying that you can trade games and, buy used games and all that stuff. That's good PR, because they technically did not lie to you. According to their system, you can do all that. But if the publishers limit their games, that's on them.
Sony's not the bad guy.
Xbox was being the bad guy because they were saying, well, they weren't either lying either. They were saying, oh, we're trying to be like Steam. No, the way you worded it is not how Gabe would have worded it. And not to mention the fact that a couple Xbox CEOs or something along that line, people high up, were starting to complain that Gabe is a what? A gutter dweller? Or something like that?
Snipe.
Gutter snipe. Yeah.
Gutter snipe.
Seriously. They've got a way with words that makes a drunk, homophobic KKK member sailor seem like a saint.
Not to mention a couple shots across the bow of our little fandom.
You want to talk about PR? One hand didn't know what the other was doing. Everybody was having, well, it's doing this. Well, no, they didn't really mean that. It means this. Well, it's only in this certain case that nobody was actually saying anything.
It was only a matter of time before they went back on DRM.
When the press liaison says you should buy a 360 instead of worrying about always online if you can't have that, that's not only bad marketing for your new console, that's bad public relations for the entire company. I know that doesn't make Xbox look bad, that makes Microsoft look bad.
Moving on, right now, from the whole DRM thing, because we can go on about that for a while, and let's not turn this into a DRM bashing quagmire.
You gotta look at the good sides too, because this is the first time we've had a console actually make deals with Halo companies, and we're actually getting a Halo TV series. So it's interesting. The back end's a little heavy on it. The one is going to have to prove itself, because right now Microsoft isn't able to do it, isn't able to talk a good game for it. This is like having a star NFL player and the coach just sits there and talks crap about him.
So, but the thing with the whole TV thing is, it wouldn't be changing far too much because it's kind of an optional feature. A lot of people use their Xbox for Netflix anyway because it's actually kind of tricky to get Netflix on a bigger television without a special smart TV, and those are expensive. So I kind of like the idea where, I'm not going to have to unplug my Xbox to, watch TV again because it'll just run through it and I can use the interface to change the channels and stuff like that. That's a nice touch. Then there's, of course, You can take your games with you because they're account tied, which is nice because now I don't have to lug around my CD case of Xbox games because even though they're all installed on my on my Xbox, I need the disc for the console itself to recognize that I indeed do own the game still.
The problem is that and now they're backpedaling and everything. They're saying that, oh well, since we can't do it, we can't offer that anymore.
It's one thing to say that your console can't survive without it and then to redo it, but it's another thing to they had that summer of indie development last year in 2012, and now they're saying that you have to have a publisher. Well, it's not an indie development.
But yeah, the Summer Arcade from Microsoft, that was always so popular because that sold games like Bastion and Braid
Elysian Tale.
And Dust. Yeah, Dust was a great game.
Well, look at when Steam has a sale on all those indie games.
Oh my god, indie developers just explode with profit and your wallet just kind of diminishes.
FTL says hello. Same with Terraria.
Any console would be asinine to even think that they can. Well, you need a publisher, you need all this stuff to actually make a profit in a profitable game.
God, look at how much money Minecraft made.
On a game that I think has the same correct me if I'm wrong, but had the same resolution as a Nintendo. It's like it looks like it was made on a Nintendo, but in a 3D world. You don't have to have all the incredible light disbursement, which they apparently have 2 suns in the new Call of Duty game.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have your sun there, and then your random light shafts coming down through the trees. It's just like, maybe if you spent a little less time polishing your rendering and, light shafts, maybe then you could actually get a sun that, works. Unlike, a game like Minecraft where sun physics are, there's a giant square in the sky. It shoots light at your face. Alright, so we're looking for exclusive games here. The ones that jump out at me, obviously, that are going to sell are Forza Motorsport 5, Connect Sports Rivals, because, every parent thinks, oh, this is a fun game to get my kids. Let's see here. Rabbids Invasion, they're going to... Please, that's getting a TV show, so same kind of deal. Sunset Overdrive actually looked pretty good. Back me up on this, because, Insomniac actually has done a decent job, except for Fuse. That was kind of a bad turnout. Zoo Tycoon, a lot of fans of that. You get to see anything really focused on Zoo Tycoon in a while.
Plants vs. Zombies, that looks... was that one where that's that variation on the Plants vs. Zombie games, right?
Yeah, that's the satire one.
Yeah, that one looks awesome.
Yeah, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, that is, I don't know if it's a parody or what, but it looks interesting.
It looks interesting. The problem I have with it, from the gameplay I saw of it, assuming I was looking at the right game, I'm fairly sure I've seen this. It's called Dungeon Defenders.
You know what? Oh. I don't care.
I don't have a problem with that.
Dungeon Defenders is a fun game.
It is, but all they're doing is changing the code of paint.
Oh, geez, like we've never seen that before. Call of Duty 5 through...
I know, it doesn't make it right, though.
I really gotta ask, why are they including Forza, Halo, Connect? Why are they including those titles in the exclusives? Because those are Microsoft anyway.
I guess because it means it won't be on 360.
Ooh. I mean, if they don't cover it under exclusives, well, that would just be like, hey, we've got Halo. Well, they've always had a Halo. They're not going to get rid of Halo.
Because if they don't, their list is shorter.
The one I find interesting that not a lot of people are talking about, Killer Instinct's back after 20 years.
As a, arcade game.
It's always been an arcade game.
No, I mean Xbox Live Arcade.
Well, it's always been an arcade game, though.
Did y'all see that video for Fantasia, Music Evolved?
That looked really neat, because Disney has always done a great job on Fantasia, and if they're getting involved with, somebody from Harmonix, or maybe the guys behind Rocksmith or Guitar Hero, they could really turn that into a fantastic game.
They could knock it out of the park and almost justify having the Kinect.
Or they could tick off everybody like they did with the Epic Mickey 2 studio.
True.
That made me very sad. I mean, the concept art had such promise.
Poor Warren Spector.
But we
Fair
got,
enough,
we get two more console makers to cover here, and then a bunch of other stuff. We need to move on to Sony PlayStation 4. Pretty much surprise everybody.
No kidding.
Pretty much surprise everybody because it looks exactly like the Xbox One, except it's in italics.
VCR, anybody?
Let's see, if the PS4 is in italics and the Wii U is in Comic Sans.
Aww.
But the PlayStation 4 kind of went a different route than it did with the PlayStation 3. Instead of having a cell processor, it now has an 8-core computer processor. Instead of trying to do quick calculations, it now can actually render physics quite well. So instead of being extremely hard to program for, it's going to be kind of easy.
And instead of being incredibly expensive, it's going to be very reasonable.
Yep, they're dropping a $400 price point instead of Microsoft's $500 price point, which was, well, to much rejoicing. But my only concern now is that going to be the bare bonesy version, like they did with the PlayStation 3, where they had a super expensive version and a bare bonesy one?
I think that's what it's going to be. An analyst, had said, well, with this price point, it's more than likely not going to include all the other stuff.
Well, it does include the eye. We know that for sure, but you don't need the eye. So
No, you do not.
unless you want to have the eye, then you don't need. It's $60 extra, so you don't absolutely have to have it. The thing that made the sticking point, the thing that kind of irked gamers a lot, because PSN has been free multiplayer now. The problem is if you don't know what server infrastructure is, it costs a lot of money to keep that up. And unfortunately, buying a game at $60 does not keep that up for long.
No, it
Especially
does not.
when you take into account used game sales.
PlayStation Plus has been in effect for 10 months now.
Well, it started after the big PlayStation collapse when everybody lost their information. Remember?
Yeah, PlayStation Plus. I don't remember how much it was to begin with, but they were giving you incentives to actually be there. It wasn't like Microsoft.
It was always $50 a year.
It wasn't like Microsoft's Xbox Live, where if you just pay for it, you can play online. That's it. I mean, that's literally it. You pay for everything else. PlayStation Plus, they have confirmed that if at $5 a month, you can play multiplayer now, since those servers do cost a lot of money. But you also get a lot of extra stuff with that, including discounts on games, on digital purchases. You also get free games every month. If you keep up on your subscription, you get free games that stack up. Like you might get Last of Us, or you might get certain things. And then now what they're trying to do, I think it's with the subscription model, they're trying to get to where you can actually stream games like PlayStation 3 library games.
What we're looking at right now is we're looking at an online service that's $10 cheaper annually than Microsoft, offers much of the same services, gives you 2 free games that so far have been games that have come out within the last year and a half. Like if I remember correctly, the 2 games coming out soon for PlayStation Plus are Sleeping Dogs, which was fairly recent, and I think Infamous 2 maybe? No, Saints Row 3. And those are fairly recent games. Those are very sought after games. And after they rotate out and you keep paying for your subscription, you get to keep them. Even if you cancel your subscription, but then decide to come back to it later, your games are still there. You don't lose your content.
What I'm seeing with both of these, the 2 biggest players, Nintendo over there in the corner, is that both of the big consoles are pushing and pulling us console gamers into getting into the online, into pulling us to download all our games rather than buying the discs.
That's kind of fine in a way. I mean, there are benefits to not owning physical property. 1, you can't lose it, and 2, you can't scratch it. You can't scratch data.
Also, it's cheaper because a lot of it's tax-free.
But then you got the same problem as people who have iTunes. If the company, for some possible reason, wants to pull that title, it's now gone.
They can always do what Steam and what EA Origins does, where if you bought a title that's no longer available, they let you keep it on your lineup. Like I had Hellgate London long after it closed down. But that's neither here nor there, because that's really a non-issue at this point in time, because there's been very few games that have gotten pulled from a store that haven't deserved it. Morzy.
Oh, it's back. Under a new name, by the way.
No, it's the same name, The War Z. It was on sale on Steam the other day.
The reason why we're not discussing hardware with this one is because the hardware for the Xbox One and the PS4 aren't that different to where it will mean a major change. I mean, it's not like
Nope.
It's not like the graphics processor of the PS4 versus the Xbox 360, which was vastly different.
Didn't we talk about the controller though? With Xbox for some reason now including infrared.
No, and I don't want to, because this is something we're not going to talk about because it shouldn't exist ever. With the PlayStation 4, it's not reliant online as much. You can play offline, you can disconnect the console. This was a major selling point at E3. And after witnessing their stock take a giant hit after E3, I think Microsoft wisened up a little bit.
A little bit.
Now,
Baby steps.
The thing that I absolutely love about the PlayStation 4 controller is the fact that it has a share button.
I'll ask, what's the share button?
You can share screenshots or video. It goes either to YouTube, to Twitch. I don't know if they enabled live streaming yet on it or not yet, but that'd been nice.
I mean, the only thing I have a little bit of a gripe with is they have the big touch surface on the controller in kind of an awkward spot, and I feel like they're gonna heavy-handedly force us to use it in some games, where it would make it a little awkward, like with what the PS3 did, where it had a 6-axis motion controls, which for some games it was a little bit forced harder than other ones. So Killzone 3 or 2 rather, perfect example. For you to open certain doors, you have to crank a valve, and so you have to awkwardly tilt your controller back and forth to turn it. Or certain falling sequences, you have to angle yourself by tilting the controller. Didn't work out too well.
Well, didn't they learn their lesson from in Nintendo 64 Mario Party days? PlayStation Network's got some benefits, so I mean it's worth $5 a month, $50 a year. Really? Like I said, all you get with Xbox Live. Dude, really, to be honest with you, you get free games every month.
2 every month.
I'm sorry, 2 every month. So 2 every month.
Plus, I want to point out, if you're playing an MMO, you're paying, say, $15 to pay one game. For this, you're paying $5 to play every game.
And generally, with MMOs like World of Warcraft, there's no benefits for long subscription times.
Nope.
Nope.
STO was the only one that I knew of that really did it.
Aeon did a subscription time
I never
reward
played
method.
Aeon.
But Sony seems to be doing right in the ways of the gamer, per se, but the fact that both of these consoles, not just Xbox One or PlayStation 4, both of these consoles are in bed with the publishers so bad that they actually can let them restrict their used games.
At least, PlayStation 4 is letting indie devs have a say in what they're doing.
Yeah, what was it? They're going to have a way to self-publish. They're going to get SDKs a lot easier. So, I mean, it's awesome.
I mean, they also come out with lineups like, Supergiant Games has Receptor, or Transistor, I can't remember the name of it, coming out on the PlayStation 4. There's Oddworld coming back. There's a bunch of really cool-looking games.
How dare you misspeak on Transistor? It's a beautiful game.
Look, it's either Transistor, Resistor, or one of them. It looks beautiful, and you know what? Supergiant Games did a great job with Bastion. I think their reputation speaks for themselves, even if I can't pronounce the name of their new game.
Well, we gotta move on to the multi-platform games because there's a ton to go through.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
There are.
Big AAA titles, some indie titles, self-publishing from indie games already in work right now. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but let's be honest. Let's kind of get to the point here. What are the ones that we really want to see? Because, I mean, you can look this up and you can see how many big games are coming out. But, let's all just give 2 that look really exciting, whether or not we've gotten gameplay or otherwise. Because
Incoming fanboy!
You know what? I'm going to save the trouble. Star Wars Battlefront.
No, I wasn't even talking about that. But yes, Incoming fanboy from D-Pad on Battlefield 4.
Oi.
Battlefield 4, yes.
Well, okay, so I've played every iteration of Battlefield, so it's kind of important. So DICE came out. They really look, from the looks of things, they look like they're going to be able to bring back Battlefield the way we remember it from Battlefield 2. They brought back Commander mode, and I think they deconstructed a few of the classes to make it more diverse, so you don't have like your medic who has also a grenade launcher like in Battlefield 3, because they only like to have a really stupid conglomerate class, which bugged me a lot. And you've got the fully destructible environments again. They've got the new Frostbite engine, so you got buildings falling down, and you got your really nice urban maps, land, sea, air combat simultaneously. And they're probably going to bring back 64-player multiplayer, so it's probably going to be really interesting, especially on PC.
What I'm very excited to try is the idea of the second screen commander mode. That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, because one of the guys there had a tablet and was calling in airstrikes and monitoring the situation from a tablet, which is really, really cool. Because historically speaking, if you played Commander in Battlefield 2 or 2142, you weren't necessarily in the fray. You were back at the base calling in UAVs, airstrikes, and supply drops.
Yep.
Because if you died, you were no use to the team.
The idea of somebody who can, unfortunately, it can go both ways. You can have somebody who's incredible tactician, or you can get
some 8-year-old who won't stop bombarding the same spot.
Yep.
Sounds like a battleground leader in World of Warcraft.
Alright, so PlayStation 4 looks like it's coming out with some really good exclusives.
Yeah, one of them, which is kind of iffy, Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, it looks good. Looks like it might be fun, but
I'll play it on my PC, thanks.
They've already had round 1. So I don't know how long that's gonna go for. One that was kind of big in the racing genre was Drive Club.
So it's just kind of a nice open world transition racing game, kind of like what Burnout Paradise tried to do.
Warframe, which is a game that we all play, I hope.
That's not really an exclusive,
well, it's
though.
only going to be on PlayStation 4 and Steam, so...
And PC, but...
That's Steam!
I thought it was hilarious when, at first, we thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be a PS4 exclusive. No!
And Final Fantasy 15. And then no. But, you can't blame Square, because Square and Disney are both smart. They want to get the most money.
Also, let's not forget Metal Gear Solid 5, because they just went full multi-platform.
Infamous Second Son, Killzone,
That
Shadowfall,
looks really cool.
Knack, Oddworld, The Order, Outlast.
Oh, man.
Transistor.
Easy there, buddy.
Please, don't make me get the bucket.
We have to give him a cold shower after this. Good God.
Get the hose!
First of all, you look at the starting titles. Okay, let's just compare Xbox One and PlayStation 4 right now. Let's hear. As far as exclusives, PlayStation 4 has less.
But they have more that definitely look like they're going to be what we core gamers really appreciate. And a couple of them have been kind of confirmed for right around launch day.
Yeah, you can look at both lists and say, well, I'd rather play Dead Rising 3 than DC Universe Online. Well, that's great. But at the same time, I'd rather play Gran Turismo than Kinect Sports. Or how is Minecraft an exclusive? Or Loco Cycle? Or how's Project Spark a game? It is freaking RPG Maker.
But here's another thing you can look at here. With, oh crap, there went my train of thought.
Well, they've got Titanfall as an exclusive on the Xbox One. That's also going to be on PC. Zumba Party Fitness. Why are they including that? I would not even include that in the company type-up.
Also, another reason is because a lot of the games that were going to go multi-platform, take Bungie's Destiny, for example. Now, they came out and said, played best on PS4. I mean, exclusives aside, it looks like some of the devs and publishers are really kind of leaning more towards Sony because, even though Xbox and Microsoft took away their DRM, that policy was still embedded in their minds for long enough that, that could be a real problem with trying to get them in the right mindset.
Not to mention a lot of these games have been in development for far longer than that announcement's been around.
Oh, yeah.
Well, next up
Back
on
to
the
the
dock
future.
is Nintendo, who's been a long-time staple at E3. And to be honest with you, them not having a giant booth this year, I understand from a business point of view, but was a blow to gamers.
They played it real safe this year.
They played it real safe. And what was it? They teased with their Nintendo Direct. They said, we're going to have a retro game on there. What was the first game everybody thought of? Come on, let's admit it. Metroid.
Yeah, those Retro Studios.
They said retro, and they never say retro. They either say classic or old. So when they said retro, everybody's like, oh, Metroid! They're bringing back Metroid! It was like a slap in the face when Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and then it's just like it's a bit of a remake too. They just added like ice.
Nintendo did a lot of games since they revealed their console earlier in the year. They did a lot of games, some sort of game that Crescendo wanted to record on, but no, can't sadly be here. What was it? It was a Animal Crossing Villager and Smash Brothers?
I thought it was a Zelda game. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Wait, I know what it is. It was the Wii Fit Trainer.
Hell yeah, that's right.
She absolutely loved that. I mean, she fangirled over. Oh no, wait, it was Mega Man. That's what it was.
Who wants that old hunk of junk?
Dear God, the fact that they actually got Mega Man. They freaking remixed a lot of the music. That was great.
Nintendo, if you're listening, please release the background music to that. I want it.
I want more video game soundtracks, please.
Also, they did a great job with Mega Man for what we've seen from gameplay-wise. You know, all of his animations line up perfectly with the NES version. You know, even the jump, when he jumps, he opens his mouth. You know, the beams that he shoots are those little 2D pellets, which are great.
Basically, Capcom just forwarded everything over sound-wise to the HAL Studios. But that was one of the major games everybody knew was coming. The other one that came really as a surprise as the trailer went on was the Mario Kart 8. Because then they're like, oh, look at that loop. Oh, wait, that's not a loop. And then your track goes off into space. I mean, it's, okay, anti-gravity is not
Rainbow
part of
Road,
it.
except you can attach yourself to it. Where's the challenge there?
I can see this getting really weird because it's in 60 FPS. Now, 60 FPS upside down.
Wait, a console doing 60 FPS?
Are most TVs able to do 60 FPS?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Should
new
be.
LCD TVs can do 60 FPS. The problem is, if you're motion sickness, this is going to get really queasy really fast.
Very much so.
Oculus Rift!
The portable puke machine,
There were
basically.
two games that were absolutely awesome that I wish got a little bit more publicity. That's Wonderful, or was it the Wonderful 101, which was weird, yet amazing at the same time because you actually used the pad, the Wii U pad, to its fullest. And the other one was Bayonetta 2, where Platinum Games had said openly, we did not dial back on anything. This will be the third M-rated game on a Nintendo system since, wow, the 90s. But yeah, I mean, Bayonetta 2, full frontal everything. You see Jean, you can never get the name right, because you want to say Jean, but they say like Jean in the game. It's like, so you kind of blur the two, it's Jean de Blois. And we all know Grey Delisle voices her, so...
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm thinking Grey Delisle's awesome.
I agree.
Yes.
But I'm also thinking that Bayonetta 2 will be a very good system seller.
Indeed, it's what Nintendo needs.
You were talking about that little touchscreen on the PS4. I mean, that they have a whole friggin' controller that most games require you to use.
Yeah,
Are they going to be coming out soon with the fix so that they can have more of those on one system?
they're planning on it. They talked a little bit about it at E3 at their little booth, but nothing concrete. With as far as their pad controller is not that bad. I mean, it's mostly a pad controller that an observer would use, like let's say in a Mario Wii U game, Super Mario U. It was more of a troll mechanic than anything because you would build platforms or take them away.
Right, but then in Wii U what is it? Festival Sports Arena something.
Sports
WiiU
something
party
come
games.
with the game, whatever.
Yeah. That had some really innovative stuff, because it's like there's one where you control 2 guards simultaneously to capture, the other players with the thumbsticks. There's a couple where you get, a special screen that has all the players on it, and then you have to look at the TV and get the transition between the two to work. Well, there are some games that use the second screen very well, and also that allows for you to, switch between, the Wii U and the 3DS. Like take Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, you can swap your character between the two with no problem.
Oh, you mean like a Japanese company that has a console and a handheld game system and wants you to swap between them? Where have I heard this before?
You mean like how the PS Vita kind of tried and didn't do it
I was
right?
trying to be sarcastic. Thanks. Ruined it.
Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it!
The multi-platform game that I'm excited about is that racing game that plans to be all across America. That you can drive from one.
The Crew?
Oh, that looks cool to me. Oh, come on! You could do.
I don't know. The car physics were a bit honky. Like, it was weird.
I mean, the multi-platform games that are big, they showed off the most. Titanfall, Dragon Age, Elder Scrolls Online, Final Fantasy 15,
Watch Dogs.
Kingdom Hearts 3, Mad Max.
You think you're excited?
And yet we know nothing about that game other than a pre-rendered cutscene.
You know what?
Well,
Don't care.
let's talk about a game here that we've pretty much only seen gameplay of, except for that one trailer they posted. Watch Dogs. When they debuted in E3 last year, they had, a solid, 20 minutes of gameplay where you are going through the city of Chicago, hacking people's phones, hacking stoplights and ATMs, using information as a weapon in a living world. Now, this game's coming out on current gen and next gen, so this poses to make a lot of money.
I'd like to note, NSA, hacking, listening in on people's phones.
Okay, let's leave Snowden out of this, shall we? Poor man's being dogged enough as it is.
I mean, this is pretty much what E3's been about for the past couple weeks. I mean,
Mirror's Edge was, to me, kind of surprising.
DICE came out swinging.
I played Mirror's Edge. I just felt very stupid when I played it. I'm like, I just can't make this work. I must be slow.
Yeah, it's alright. It takes a certain kind of mindset. I mean, it's a great free-running game. Very much, kind of almost mirrored Surface Cities. The level design's really clever. Runner vision was cool. It was a very, well-orchestrated game, but it was also very difficult because a lot of the times it wasn't very easy to find out where you're supposed to go.
I mean, this is what you have to deal with when you're sorting through the news of E3. E3 was so huge. There were over 200 videos out of E3. We have 40.
Mountain of information to sort through.
An amount of misinformation. E3's got a lot of drama around it. So you gotta
What
kind of
con
wade
doesn't?
through it, kind of like a pony convention.
It's almost got as much problems, like even at the beginning of the episode. The sexual harassment, that it's not just comic conventions, folks.
As far as E3 goes, that's pretty much all the big stuff. The little stuff that's still out there, you can go take a look at. The channels I like to frequent are IGN and Revision 3 Games, because Adam Sessler is a sexy, sexy man.
Oh, you.
Don't mind his man crush, folks.
As far as what we covered, this could change like tomorrow. This could change in 3 hours from the recording, which is on Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, we're not recording on our usual day. So, I mean, if you're hearing this on Sunday and none of this matches up, it's because, well, we're sorry.
Yep.
Not
I mean,
really.
it even says on Sony's dev site, any specs on the PS4 are subject to change. That's on Sony's official site. So, I mean, that just kind of goes to show that everything is still very fluid and water-like. Nothing is stagnant and concrete yet.
It's not a Nintendo 64.
It's more of a quagmire that you can kind of put a disc into and hope something happens.
Alright.
You know what I enjoy the most to wrap this up with? Microsoft is being held accountable.
Yup, finally.
For once, finally gamers are talking with their wallets.
Did you see the pre-order? That picture of the pre-orders? 14,000 units, or 140-some thousand units pre-ordered versus 8?
Yeah, big number versus little number. It was pretty blatant in early sales, so Microsoft marketing had to do something, or else it was, like I said, business suicide.
Dear Princess Celestia, what did I learn this week? Don't screw with my fan base.
Or Texas.
Or the consumer base.
I'd say I was speechless, but I have one more thing to announce. Coming this year. Peggle 2!
Hey guys, we're looking for new people, and guess what? You could join our ranks. We're looking for a video editor, an audio editor, and 3 people to do game reviews. If you think you want to join our team, please sign up by emailing us at bluescreenbronies@gmail.com. Good luck everyone, and remember, even though we're only looking for 5 people, they have to be over 18. There are some NDAs and contracts that we may have to sign in the future due to the nature of game reviewing, so please, 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 only people 18 and older.